Today's video is a one-page layout process video featuring a very special photo of me and my sister. If you are new here, hey, I am Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. Today's layout is part of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, Series 12. Here is a look at that sketch and just a couple of notes that I made, and of course that photo I was referencing. I'll tell you more about that later. I have decided to pull out the Dream Maker collection from Close to My Heart and use it. It's got some soft colors and then it kind of matches the color in my shirt. So for the circle element of this layout, sometimes it's best to just use something circular on your desk. I have this roll of foam tape that I have just penciled around on some white daisy cardstock. I am going to trim that down slightly, and then I am just going to use my scissors to cut that out. It's going to give it kind of a rough look, not perfect per se. Oh, well, here's my mom sharing layouts that she made. We're at a retreat, so pause for that for a second. And I'm just going to take some scissors and cut around this circle. Now, that foam tape wasn't quite as large as I wanted it to, so you'll see here that I'm actually cutting about 1/2 inch larger. And then you can see that it's definitely not perfect. So I'm going to rough up the edges to kind of help with that imperfection. I am using an old edge distresser tool from Close to My Heart. I do have a Tim Holtz one, but I am at a retreat, like I said, and I didn't bring it. So I'm just going to kind of smooth out some of those edges with my fingernails. And then you can see this little flat spot. So keep in mind that I am going to be trying to hide that when it comes to actually assembling my layout. So I am using the periwinkle pattern paper for the bulk of my base page. And then there's this real pretty striped watercolor. Now I originally was going to edge distress, and then I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and paper tear that. I'm going to adhere that down on that left side. The paper tearing is going to kind of play along with the edge distressing, but give it a softer look. So now I'm ready to adhere that circle down. Pretty much when I'm working with sketches, oops, there's that little flat mark. So watch that, and my photo will end up hiding that. But pretty much when you are working with sketches, I like to pick 2 or 3 elements from the sketch and keep them pretty true to form, and then everything else is fair game. So sketches can be either an option to just copy verbatim. Of course, you want to give credit to who you are copying from, or you can use it just kind of loosely, which is what I usually do. So on the sticker sheet for the Dream Maker, there is this perfect title. So I'm going to cut it out. This is actually the negative that's left over. I've already used the word perfect on another layout. And while I do that, it's a perfect opportunity to remind you to like this video if you are liking what you're seeing, share with your friends, and then don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already a subscriber. Those simple things help me out, especially if you aren't in a position to order from any of the links I leave down below. I'm just going to finish this off with my scissors. Again, I was at a retreat, so these tables kind of give way when I go to cut, and so that didn't cut all the way through. I am going to play with the title placement just a little bit before I commit to actually peeling the backing off of that sticker and laying it down. I am noticing that I want my photo to pop a little bit, so I'm going to pull out this gorgeous Dream Maker collection. Now I'm trying to stay away from that rosy color, which is perfect because this pattern paper has various colors. So I'm going to stick with the Lagoon and the Sundance, and I think that plays really nicely with that striped paper over on the left. So I am ready to commit to that title. So I just trimmed it down ever so slightly, and then I'm just going to peel it away from that sticker backing and attach it to the top portion of that circle. Now I did keep the little centers to the P and the R, and I'll just attach those with my tweezers. Hold on just a second, let me cough. Okay, much better, I think. So I'm going to finish putting the centers to those letters on my layout, and then I am going to add some 3D foam tape to the back of this photo. It's just going to make it pop a little bit, and then it's going to allow me to kind of tuck some things in and behind it if I want to. Again, keeping in mind that I'm trying to hide that little straight part of that circle. So much like I did using the stash from the table that's at the retreat for that Christmas layout, I picked up some stickers as well as some chipboard pieces. Unfortunately, I don't remember the company, so if you happen to know what collection this is from, I would love to hear it. But there is this story. So I definitely want to tell the story about this photo. The photo quality is crappy. Again, I told you guys that on this series, I'm trying to use up a bunch of older photos. And of course, those were back with 3mm film. You had to send it off. There was no editing. And so I kind of want the story to be the highlight. So you can see here, I am bringing in those chipboard pieces that I found. I am just amazed at how, if you follow Close to My Heart makers online, you know that we just have collections that just match perfectly with each other. There's really no need to bring in any other collections. But if you're like me, I just love paper crafting. So there are some wonderful collections out there, and I love that I can mix the two because I have a huge stash of Close to My Heart products. As well as being a maker, I'm constantly using new products. So I love when I can mix match those collections, and you can see here, they just match perfectly. The perfect gold title is from the Dream Maker. That pattern paper on the left is from Dream Maker, yet these flower pieces, these chipboard pieces just fit so perfectly with those colors and that paper. Brought in some more gold by those gold dragonflies and butterflies from the sticker sheet. Now I am just trimming off the top of this photo ever so slightly. Sometimes I'm a little heavy-handed on my cut, which means that my edge of the paper goes on top of the measurement mark, and then sometimes I'm a little light. So kind of get off on those measurements. So back to the Dream Maker sticker collection. There are these border stickers, and then we also have some sentiment stickers. But there were a couple of the borders that I liked. So life is meant to be lived, and then up at the top is cherish each moment. And then I'm going to pull some other ones here in just a second. Now, I just felt like the circle needed a little bit more. And so these same floral chipboard pieces also had a wreath. So I just cut that apart, and I am just using that to kind of tuck in behind some of those little floral groupings. And I think it just adds that extra something. It's not just so blatantly a circle with some embellishment groupings, if you will. So again, I've pulled out the sticker sheet. I'm really thinking here, it needs something. Stay tuned, because in true Katy fashion, I am almost done with this layout, and I am going to pull out some stamps to stamp on it. Yes, you heard me right. My dear friend Erin likes to make sure everything's going to look perfectly, and I'm like, I don't need to do that. Let me just go ahead and stamp directly on my layout. But first, I took this zip strip and added a couple of other strip little sentiments. This one is going to say laugh often, and again, adhered it with 3D foam tape. Right under the story is going to be cherish family, and that's actually getting adhered directly onto my layout, kind of in between that T and the Y, and I absolutely love it. I love the variation of the big, huge title and then those little strip subtitles. So here is the stamp set. I like this stamp set. I am a fan of border stamp sets. This was part of the National Scrapbook Day. I believe it's called Friendship Borders. Not sure it's still available, but the only thing that bothered me about this border is it had two suns. So I thought that I would be super clever and cut out one of the suns. I cut my stamps frequently. I was not even worried about it, but here is where my plan went awry. So I've applied that to a block. I've pulled out my periwinkle ink. I'm going to attach the little foam insert that comes with every single Close to My Heart stamp set, and I am going to stamp down this row of houses with only one sun. I mean, because who has two suns, right? Well, I forgot that when I elongate the border, I am actually stamping another sun. Yep, you heard that right. And I know we all do it. We come up with this brilliant plan and then we get so excited, and then somewhere in the process it all goes awry. But I am going to fix it, and that is the important thing. So stick around. I don't do it on camera, but let's see if you can spot the fix in the still shots at the end of this video. So there was this little house that didn't get inked up all the way, and the lighting wasn't very good, and so I was afraid to try to line the houses up again. So I pulled out my gel pens, and then that gold one is actually going to color the sun. And then I'm actually loving that gel pen, that gold one. So I'm actually going to use it to doodle around those floral groupings. So this doodling is only 3 dots in a triangle. You guys have seen me do it before. If you haven't, then definitely subscribe to this channel because I do it often. And don't forget that this is part of Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches. As always, there will be a link down below to her Facebook group, as well as the playlist. And then here are some close-ups. Again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I will leave links down below to anything that I used that is still available. And remember, if you aren't able to order from those links, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and that helps me just as much. Thanks, and have a wonderful weekend.